because these agencies want to pay $7.25 an hour or $10 an hour or whatever, you're not going to get the quality, the trust, the professionalism, the savviness, someone who has experience if you're paying them $10 an hour or what did you say? $16, $16.50 in New York City? To get someone who lives way outside the city, someone lives some other place if they're making $16.25, $16.50 an hour.
So let's start with this. Live selling. I think we've mentioned 3 shows in a row that we were going to talk about live selling, and then we've almost done it at the end of 3 shows in a row. So we might get to it. So let's define like what it is. I frame it as it's QVC on YouTube or QVC on a different app, like Gary Vee's pushing Whatnot as this app. Like live selling on TikTok is one of the biggest things in the world. It's being able to buy stuff. If I was like, hey, check out these AirPods. These are great. You'd be able to click and buy now. Where do you guys see the opportunity for this? Or is this just something else to distract us from what we're here to do to make money?
Dave, have you seen any of the live selling stuff?
I've seen it for the traditional like clothing and the traditional physical products. I haven't seen it for anything else. I would love to kind of hear what you have in mind, whether it's the things that you're doing in your clinic with like basically the same products that you do the unboxing videos and the product review videos. So it's the Heichi massage gun. I think you, Tony, could do it. I think you can do it almost today if you wanted to. I know you're very, I don't want to say bashful. You're very humble, but you are so comfortable in front of the camera. I think you could almost do it right away. So I would just love to kick it back to you and hear like, what are your thoughts around this whole thing? Yes, it's happening with like physical products and stuff you can buy on Amazon or Temu or whatever, where it's like this sweatshirt or this, this home gadget, whatever for your kitchen. But I think you were initially mentioning it for health and wellness products that we could potentially do in physical therapy. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like anything. There's a spectrum. You've got the QVC hard sell, buy it now. You've got 15 minutes. It's going off. You're never going to get it again. All the way to, I think, where we would be as professionals, it's more education based. It's more, hey, come be a fly on the wall. Join me for this therapy session. I've got a great one for you guys today. I'm treating patient who has total knee replacement, 24 hours post-op. I want you to see how I approach this, the tools we use, what we do. And so literally it's just education. It's just teaching. It's the same thing that I did with PT students during the pandemic, where I was like a virtual CI. They got on Zoom. They got on a HIPAA compliant video platform, just followed me around. And if I happen to use a piece of equipment, I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite, which it genuinely is. I buy this on Amazon or the company sent it to me and this is what we do with it and this is how we use it. This goes all the way back to Rob Vining and Dave Kittle and PT Tech Talk talking about like how you can get creative with stuff and MacGyver things around. So like the thing that got me started were these floor lift chairs. I love the idea of getting people off the ground who didn't get hurt, but they ended up on the floor. And these chairs are like $500 or $600. They're amazing. I looked on my.
Did you freeze? You still there, Jimmy?
Oh, sorry. I thought that was mid. Yeah, he froze. What I'm doing, I thought I screwed that up. I'm on Whatnot right now. And essentially, I mean, what you're looking at is these dudes are just selling right now. So this is just like a point of view shot, right? But I'm guessing if I hit right, oh, sorry, it's not even selling. These guys are bidding. This is an auction. So I know you can set it up differently. We're looking at Whatnot. That's a new app, right, that you're going to need to build traffic to. But there's also built-in traffic. So now you got these two things. And it looks like you can bid on this like knife set right here, and you've got a chat. So it's exactly what you'd think. It's live eBay. Like eBay's probably firing someone right now because they're like, how come you guys didn't think of this? Like you had the infrastructure, you had all these things, and you could have done it, but you didn't. But that's the story, right? That's Kodak with digital cameras.
How much of what I said did you get? Because I guess I picked up the network and that's where I got lost.
Yeah, we got most of it, right? Yeah. So you're thinking of, hey, listen, if I'm already suggesting this, if I'm saying this once to a patient and this is how it's done, I record it, And then virtual Tony, virtual Dave Candy, virtual, you are saying that potentially tens of thousands of times later. I actually looked up a phrase. We'll get to the phrase. I looked it up on YouTube, and I scroll one thing down and it's Tony's video, and I scroll down again and it's Tony's video, and I scroll down again, it's Tony's video. I searched a generic term. I'll tell you what it is later, but Tony was not the first video, but he was the second, third, and fourth. And if you know anything about track and field or swimming and how points are scored, second, third, and fourth beats first. I like that because you're showing up in multiple places.
Yeah. What's the search term? Why can't you tell us? I'm on the edge of my seat now.
On the edge of you. That's called foreshadowing. And I didn't tell you. didn't tell you what the search term was because
come on.
Because it's one of our sponsors. I searched this term. It's the 8-minute rule.
Are you serious? Wait, you seriously searched the 8-minute rule and Tony's videos came up for 2, 3, 4?
If you go to YouTube and you type in the 8-minute rule, Tony comes up like 2, 3, 4. The 8-minute timer, if you have the 8-minute rule in your life, you buy this. This solves your problem. You want to stretch 8 minutes into forever? Grab the 8-minute timer, calibrated to move slower anytime your boss walks by. Comes with preloaded small talk prompts like, so, do you play pickleball? Or, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Or, hey, what did you do last weekend? 8minuteenergy.com. Just use code, just bill it, and we'll throw in a stopwatch with a side of existential dread. The 8-minute timer. Yeah, I was looking up the 8-minute rule because there's a podcast that was just launched by a PT called like the 8-minute rule. And I saw it. And I was like, this is great. All your episodes are 8 minutes. And we get on a call to like sort of chop it up. And he was like, well, no, they're all longer than 8 minutes. And I was like, no, man, like 7-minute abs. Like you just turn it off at 8 minutes. Have a clock in the corner. Have a clock, right? Counting down, not up, down or up. It doesn't matter. But like you turn it off. And he was like, oh yeah, we started that. I'm like, dude, I'm on your YouTube. Your shortest video is 11 minutes. You violated the canon of the 8-minute rule right out of the gate. But I think there's a lot of potential. So we'll get to Jordan and his 8-minute rule podcast. But that's what I was searching for.
Okay, so the live selling. I was working out yesterday and I thought of you guys and this whole live selling idea. Maybe it was because we were, it was like the night before this show. And I'm like, well, so Tony mentioned the live selling. He does it in a way with, you kind of do it a little bit with some of these videos. But I know you're not going to be, so Tony is just not going to be overly salesy. He's not going to go like crazy tonality the way I'll go through the roof sometimes, But I was thinking like, now, and I think one of you floated this. I want to just clarify. Did one of you float us live selling stuff on the show? Was that floated?
Yes, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to do that eventually. So my idea, and I'm working on it with some people in the background because there's a bunch of people who could benefit from this. So I won't reveal who it is because I want to keep it sort of secret till we pop it, right? This is PTQVC. Again, just give me an idea that I understand, although I think a lot of kids probably don't even know what QVC is. It's quality, value, something else. It's TV when they sold stuff to you. As my grandmother, my mother, and my aunts would call each other on like a group call and watch QVC at the same time and be like, oh, that's nice. We should get that for Aunt Bessie. Aunt Bessie would love that. Look at that necklace, right? Look what we just did there because they lived in different parts of the country. So this is bringing the option to purchase something directly where you are in the moment. We have almost gone full circle back to what we did 15 years ago. Someone actually had a post like a couple of months ago. I made fun of it, which was, what we should do? We should put all the streaming platforms on one platform and then just pay for access for that. I was like, you invented cable. Like, congratulations. Someone a year ago was like, you'll be fun is if we could all know who we're listening to the same podcast at the same time. I was like, you just invented radio. We used to do that. We went away from it because you didn't want that. But that's where everything is full circle. Bell bottoms are in, then they're stupid, then they're in again, people.
The other thing that I think viewers need to consider is we understand live selling as products, but it's just as easy to sell a service, and that's where we go back to, like, I watched Dave, I saw your video of a client on the bed doing some upper body stuff.
Saw that.
I was there, like I was in the room. I was part of that experience. And so you could just as easily sell the service of a session with you or a consultation over the phone, or I feel like my PT doesn't know what he's doing. I'm going to call Dave just to see if I'm on the right track or not. Like all of these things are totally doable. And I think what you get with live, it's not like prefabricated. You don't have to worry about lighting. You can make mistakes. The pressure is gone from a prefabricated video. You just go out and start talking. And even if you mess it up, nobody cares. It's live.
Who cares? Yeah, who cares? Honestly, like I've talked more people out of editing podcasts or videos and into like, it's easier with the academics because I'm like, when you give class, do you like stop the class if you mess up and like be like, oh, come, pretend I didn't say that. Let's go back to the previous sentence. No, of course not. That's stupid. Human brains can do the edit in real time. Got it. That wasn't supposed to be there. Okay, moving on. This is not a song that's going to hopefully win a Grammy. This is live. This is where time and space matter. You have to be at this app at this time watching this thing to get that deal. People love this. Even when we know it's a trick, go to Amazon. 3 remaining. I better buy it now. Because what comes after 3, 2, 1, and then 0? 0 means I lose.
Tony, I knew you were going to say it. The services, not just physical products. That's why I asked it. So I already had that on my head. I know you mentioned you might be phasing out are you phasing out the Medicare course, or some other course or something? You said but then I saw a post where you might be bringing another course back or whatever. So like that could be on here, but what are the pros and cons of when you guys saying floating the idea of live selling? Would it be pitching and selling stuff to the audience, which is typically physical therapists at this point, which is a smaller audience, but maybe more targeted, or the mass public of like, hey, check out this new massage gun that Tony's using in his office. Some PTs might buy it, but there's way more, public out there that we could show them. So how can you do both?
You do it on different channels, like who the audience is for that channel. Like I wouldn't sell Victoria's Secret underwear on ESPN. Actually, that might actually work. But you see what I mean? Like sports stuff for the sports guys, but also that's like wrapping paper, selling wrapping paper to the sports guys. Different audiences, like Tony's Medicare channel is talking to clinicians, right? Because it's learning how to bill Medicare. Like people who have Medicare don't care about that. That's a PT problem. But a public-facing channel, you could sell. This is B2B or B2C is the answer. But who's the audience for the channel? And that's how you decide. I think you could do both, though. Like, do you guys know Stroops? I think I asked this the other day. This guy, I did an episode with him. Sean Harker's nuts in all the right ways. Like, this guy is off the wall. He's like my energy with some ideas, but he knows how to build stuff. Like, he can take the idea and make a physical product out of it. For him, he could go business to consumer. Like, hey, do you want to build a home gym? Like, here's the 7 things you should have in your home gym to start. And he could walk over to the squat rack that he built and the straps that he built and the thing that he built and the other thing and the curved treadmill that he built. Or you could just have a different channel, different audience, different headline, different thumbnail even, I think would tell people, hey, do you run a physical therapy clinic and you don't want to get hosed by paying rogue prices? Great. Perfect. I have better stuff at less because you're not going to pay for the label here. Let me show you how to outfit your PT clinic for less than $1,000. Boom, boom, boom. And you're like, you know what? There's the line from Futurama. Take my money. You're letting.
I think it could be different channels. I think it could also be the same channel. And this has been a concept that a lot of guys have been talking about. The algorithm has gotten good enough that you don't need to make separate channels anymore. If I make something where I'm talking to other practice owners about the floor lift chair and about how I use it, what I do with it, how I use it in my clinic, how I sell it to clients, it's targeting practice owners, even though that's a small audience. I think I could probably put that on the same channel as content that's direct to consumer. And the people who are, looking for total knee replacement content won't be shown the video that's intended for other practice owners. The algorithm will split that and kind of direct it to the appropriate audiences, even on the same channel. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't like that. Like we talked about, what was the flyer that got shared about charging $15. Jimmy tagged me as a collaborator. It showed up on my Instagram and I kind of knew it was gonna, it made me uncomfortable because nothing on my Instagram is for other therapists. Everything on my Instagram is for the general population.
Got it.
But it didn't matter. It still got like 3,000 or 4,000 views on my Instagram. So I was like, who cares? Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is, I'm going to look deep into the camera here, guys. A lot of this is just trying some stuff and see what happens. Like, that's why I loved being in radio. Like, I'd be out at a bar with like the engineers, the guys who helped me put on radio, right, in the background. And we'd be like, you know what you should do? We should do this and this and this. And Monday we'd just do it. And by Thursday, we'd like kind of figure out, like, does this have legs or does this suck? And then we just tried again. And I remember being like 24 years old, being like, I hope no one figures out that I'm just making this stuff up. And then like a couple of years later, I'm like, oh, everyone's making this up. Everyone's making this up. We're just figuring. But what the magic is the paying attention to how it works or doesn't work, teasing the lessons out of that, and then taking that on to the next project. People say going back to the drawing board. I'm like, that's a negative. I'm like, I freaking love that because I'm going back to a drawing board with knowledge I didn't have the last time I was at the drawing board. I got better weapons. Tony, let's wrap this up, or let's sum this idea up. My pitch is we've got a couple people that we know in our network. I want a low, medium, high. I want a $20 item. I want a $200 item. I want a $2,000 item. I want them on the same show. And I want to be like, here's this. But then you can do a bunch of different paradigms. What I'm going to do is go to YouTube and watch an old episode of QVC for an hour. I'm going to go full tongue in cheek, right? But I'm going to watch their patterns. Dave even mentioned it. Why do they have those changes in tonality? Because our brains brain that way, right? It just does. Look at
people call in.
Correct. Yes, we could do call-ins. Why do people talk to why do we talk to babies like this? No one taught us to do that, but babies react. So we say, the more I talk, the more react. The more I talk like this, the more I react. It's the same for trying to convince or persuade or sell. I just want to see if this works. I think we know it does because we have previous examples of it working. But now, is the delivery smooth? Is the time of Tony doing a live stream for an hour, is the juice worth the squeeze? Could it be worth the squeeze in 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months if you tune the right channel the right way? I think the answer is yes. There's a lot of things that Gary Vee picks that I'm for, a lot that I'm like, not so much. Think NFTs. I mean, maybe that's going to play a lot.
That was 100%.
I never thought. I got to be honest with you. I was like, he's really excited, but I don't understand why I'm buying. But anyway, maybe I'm not seeing it in the future, which is true about everything. This will be a thing. Someone's going to figure it out in 6 months. You could figure out 6 days from now, and that's called first mover advantage. Do we want to go to another topic?
Yeah, grab Dave's topic.
Oh, Dave's topic. Yes. Okay. So Dave's topic was, Dave, you teed up.
So I sent you guys a thing about the home health care, and then there was something else I sent yesterday.
It was the home health one I was talking about. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, so there was something about, this is a Washington Post article about the challenges of home health care. So typically we're talking about like home health aides and folks that are working with the older population in their homes for extended periods of time, typically 8 hours a day, sometimes 12 hours a day, or live in 24 hours a day. And so the challenge with this, and not to get political, but there is a little bit of component of like with not having enough talent coming into the U.S. potentially because of political reasons, the cost of it, there's less and less, it seems like there's less and less coverage for it, whether it's your traditional insurance, your, I don't even know, whatever it is, Medicare Part A. I know that there are these life insurance policies like John Hancock and some of these others that we've had patients over the years where they've used some of these life insurance policies that I think contribute and pay for some of these home health care offerings. And then historically, we've actually had patients call in where they're like, oh, it's a son or daughter. The son or daughter is, 50 or 60, and their mother or father is being discharged today from the hospital. And they're like, oh my gosh, we need everything tomorrow. And the social workers help a little bit from these hospitals. They kind of help with like, okay, do they need a commode? We have to order that. Let's order other things and get it shipped to the house, which goes back to, potentially live selling. But the home health care situation, it is challenging because of staffing, because of the rates that these agencies and these companies typically pay, which is most of the time minimum wage. Yep. I have no idea how someone can do this in New York City and live on what's minimum wage now? Is it 20? Is it 18,
No.
$20 an hour or something? And most of the, why are you laughing? Because I don't know minimum wage.
Federal minimum wage is like $7 and change.
No, I'm talking about isn't New York, still in New York City have its own?
New York
sure.
City at
I'm sure.
$16.50.
Okay, $16.50. So these agencies are typically, because they have a big marketing funnel at the top, they teach individuals how to become home health aides and they get them certified. Whatever the process is, it's not that long, whether it's a CNA certified nursing assistant or it's an HHA home health assistant or home health attendant, whatever. A lot of these companies teach individuals. Federal minimum wage is, that's crazy low, but it is what it is. And then New York, $16.50 or whatever you just said. So and I'm basically, I have like 2 clients. I'm basically out of patient care, but I'm covering one of my therapist clients right now. And there's such a swing. There's such a wide variety of individuals and their willingness to help the client between when I'm there Monday versus when I'm there Friday. Like there's like 3 or 4, there's different home health aides overnight. There's different home health aides throughout the week. And this patient, this family could absolutely pay out of pocket for like someone who is like way more motivated, but not everyone has that budget. Not everyone has that money. And this family still decides to use these agencies. And it's something that I wanted to bring up also because I know Jimmy can kind of speak to this. He went through a bunch of stuff with Jimmy, with your father, and the challenges with home health services and someone with immobility. So I wanted to bring it up also because it's in my world. It's kind of like very prominent in our world for folks that are, 70, 80-year-old plus, or they're coming out of coming off a stroke, coming out of a hospital, things like that.
The way I looked at this, I was like, oh, we're going to have a good discussion because everyone's looking at this thinking it has to be a nurse or it has to be a home health aide. I'm like, it has to be a person who has the willingness to do this, qualifications. I mean, I'm sure there's certain things, if you're going to bill for certain things, it's someone else's rules, right? If you're going to bill for this, you have to have these qualifications to be credentialed. You have to have this. Great. People buy solutions. People don't buy credentials. So, hey, guy, John Doe, PT, DPT, OCS, SCS, GFC, all the things. Great. I need you to deliver this thing. I don't even know what the thing is. That I think is the magic. I forget who I was talking to the other day. And I was like, who are you selling this to? Like, who's the ideal person you want to put this in front of? And they were like, someone who's had a stroke. And I was like, my man, people who've had strokes, some of them can, but a lot of them can't be on an iPad. Like, they're not on Instagram anymore, my man. You're trying to talk to me to buy something for my dad. And the guy literally in a live, like, call like a clarity call was like, I'm like, yeah, dude, like that's like trying to sell baby formula to babies. Babies don't shop, my man. Like, I'm very sorry, but like, they can't make the decision. They don't know they have the needs. Someone else is making the decisions. Talk to the decision maker. You talk to a 32, 33 to 50-year-old kid who has a parent. That's who this is for. If you have a solution for that, you are a multimillionaire if you're a logistics person, because these people, older adult, need lots of things. And it's varied. It's no one size fits all. It's customized. What do you need? My dad had a stroke, aphasia. So my PT background kind of didn't really help. I looked at my SLP friends and I was like, little help over here. I learned about aphasia for like 12 minutes in PT school. Thought it was very interesting. If it's your dad, you're like, oh, this is not interesting anymore. This is, life changing. So I think you point out I think all I heard you say, Dave, was massive opportunity if you know how to solve this in your local community. And a PT is more than equipped. A PTA more than equipped to do it. Who's going to jump on this?
Well, so we've done this historically over the past maybe 5 or so years, like even during COVID, where we had non-licensed professionals do this. We call them care companions, and we would get a call today, right now. We get a call from a son or daughter, like you said. The decision maker is the son or daughter of the individual who's coming out of a hospital or whatever. Son or daughter is like, oh my gosh, we need like home physical therapy. We got to keep them moving. We want to avoid bed sores and pressure ulcers and all that type of stuff. We got to keep them moving. We got to get them up. We wanted to get them out of the hospital because usually the mother or father, it wants to get out of the hospital. They don't want to go to a SNF. They don't want to go to a skilled nursing facility. They don't want to go to a lot of these facilities. This is even before COVID, but especially COVID accelerated this whole sentiment of not wanting to go to a skilled nursing facility. And most people now, I mean, I think it's maybe forever. I'm sure it's a long held belief of like, I want to age in place. I want to age at home. I want to stay home because that's where they're most comfortable. And that's like where they can, I mean, there's a whole bunch of emotions around this of like wanting to keep control of the decision making around their health and wellness. So that's part of it as well. Someone who wants to maintain their independence, their dignity, their integrity. They want to keep all this as much as possible. So we've been doing this. And I had a couple clients that I met other unlicensed, like laymen, like just people like that are empathetic. They had a history in hospitality, whatever, and they don't have the CNA designation. They don't have the HHA designation, but they did all the stuff that, changing diapers, cleaning, hygiene, feeding, medication delivery, taking the client out to restaurants or whatever it is, traveling with them. So we would have someone call in and they're like, we need home physical therapy, like ASAP, like tomorrow. And also like, do you know any like home health aides? And I was like, and then I could, send a couple texts or calls or whatever. And I could get someone there tomorrow. And we would be very clear and transparent. These are vetted. These are people that I've known for 3, 4, 5 years, vetted, trusted. I've worked with them personally. I've worked with them alongside shoulder to shoulder with them with other clients. And we tested a wide range of hourly rates. What's that, bottom of the funnel?
No. I was writing down words. I'm like, here's what I need to see if I was looking for this person if they were posting, I'm available. Can you, if I was looking for someone for my dad and you hit the word right off the bat, I was like, I need someone I can trust. I'm going to leave you alone with my dad. Dude, if I can't trust you, off the table, right? That is not an RN. It could be, but it's not in a credential. I need you to be able to think. I don't know what I need. You might not know what I need, but we need something. I know. Look, I'm just gesturing wildly. So I need you to be able to think and pivot and like think critically, right? Not necessarily evidence-based. That's in it. But like, if my dad is like, I'm going to just keep going to the refrigerator and he's going to fall, I need you to be like, hey, why don't I grab that for you? I know that's mind-blowing, but I need someone who can do that, right? And finally, reliable. If I hire you and you're not going to show up 2 out of 3 days, then I can't go to work 2 out of 3 days or whatever that might be. So trust, I need you to be able to think like a human who's autonomous, and I need you to be reliable. None of those things are credentials. Now, what I'm saying is if you have those credentials and you could do those 3 things, world is your oyster.
Go ahead, Tony. No, go ahead,
It's
Tony.
not the kind of thing that's going to be replaced by AI.
Never.
We are the kind of thing that gets replaced by AI because we are the cerebral, let's figure this out, let's think and process and that.
Correct.
The person who's actually there sitting with mom or dad, helping them eat, helping them go to the bathroom, helping them transfer in and out of bed, that's not going to be replaced. Robots are not going to replace it. AI is not going to replace it. I just can't believe that somebody hasn't stepped in. Talk about like opportunity for growth. Build the school, build the academic setting, produce those people at high rates and high velocity.
It's already happening.
They don't need licensure. They don't need, any of that stuff. Where is it happening?
Kid geriatrics could put together a course in the next 2 weeks and start like teaching people this. Wouldn't that be a great revenue source that would do good?
It's already happening. I mentioned earlier that all of these agencies have a built-in track to train individuals who have no experience in this at all. That goes back to the beginning of the topic of this post from the Washington Post, which is many of the individuals delivering this care or support or whatever you want to call it, many of them are not from the US. Why? Because these agencies want to pay $7.25 an hour or $10 an hour or whatever. You're not going to get the quality, the trust, the professionalism, the savviness, someone who has experience if you're paying them $10 an hour or what did you say? $16, $16.50 in New York City to get someone who lives way outside the city. Someone lives some other place if they're making $16.25, $16.50 an hour.
Yeah, dude. Like, here's how you play on this for good. It's like, who would you trust to take care of your parents in their most vulnerable moments when you're not around? You can do it, but that means you I need you to understand your most of your life stops if you're going to be the first person doing this. Everything, like your meals, your job, your social life. Now, what is your life and their care worth? Combine those two numbers together. That's what you pay the person. If the answer is $10 an hour, then if that's all you can afford, that's what you get. But this is a real problem that people are really willing to solve. And I think either Tony is deep in thought or he's frozen. I'm going to go with he's so convinced that Dave and Jimmy are right that he is frozen and locked into place.
So with this, when we were testing this, and I would love to hear, so David Rubin, you posted up on the screen share here that he's going through this right now. When we were doing this, we were just guess, how much were we charging?
You were charging or how much you were paying?
How much we were, it was like, here's the physical therapy rate, like you guys know. And then also here's the hourly rate for this other professional who I've vetted, I've worked with, I trust, I know them, and I can have them there tomorrow or in 12 to 24 hours. And when we're organizing shifts of 8 hours and overnights and meals included and kind of training the whole family of like, here's what to expect, like everything, and like commode and like everything and a checklist of items. Like, do you have latex gloves and A&D and like all that stuff, right? How much were we $67 an hour.
Yeah, I was like doing the math, like, okay, how much is it to go to work? 8 hours, 9 hours. So it's like 6 times 8 is $450 a day. So that works in New York City. If you're somewhere else, that might not work, but that's okay because your costs are lower. Everybody, like the rising tide lifts all ships, but the cost also gets to the lowering tide gets to lower all ships in a good way. Yeah, I was going to say $60 to $125 an hour is what people in New York City would be willing to pay to take care of.
Now that hourly rate for 5 hours, 8 hours here and there, or whatever, that doesn't make, like, that's not crazy. But when you take that hourly rate and you do 14 days in a row of 24-hour coverage or even 12-hour coverage,
right,
then it comes out to thousands and then tens of thousands of dollars. And that is the crux of why this is challenging, because families need to have the financial resources to pay that. Many of them think that it's kind of like physical therapy, right? Like the people that are like, why would I pay $250, $350 a visit when I have United Healthcare, in-network coverage, and my boss takes, the money out of my account and I pay the monthly premiums and all that. People want, a lot of times people want what we can offer. Like they want like their family member to be, cared for and mobilized and personal hygiene and clean and fed and all that. But they want the minimum wage rates. And that is the crux of why this is the challenge here. The home health, regardless of whether the home health aide, the care companion, the licensed, unlicensed professional that's got experience in doing this, that's going to stimulate that's going to provide stimulation for the client, or just like let them sit there and let them lay in bed all day. Like there's such a wide variety of what the actual professional will do, can do. Are they going to take them out of the house or not? Are they afraid to move them and they just want them to get weaker and lose muscle mass and lose strength and lose function and just keep them in their bed or put them in the recliner and put them in front of the TV all day, versus some home health aides that I've seen, or the care companions, where they take the client out to museums and restaurants and all this stimulating activity, take them out to Central Park and all that. Folks, if you want that, I'll take your mother or father out and stimulate them and look at old family albums and you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
No insurance is paying for this these days. Insurance, just like physical therapy, is going to cover the bare minimum. It's not going to cover the above and beyond of the full experience. So it's kind of like, not that I'm preaching, but it's just like, this is the crux of this, is like, who's doing this? What are they delivering? What's the quality of what the experience that your mother or father is actually going to be getting with this agency or company? And you get what you pay for.
You sort of have to, like, because you don't understand what taking care of someone is like until you do it. Like, you'd think you do. Like, I must have heard like caregiver education 4,000 times in PT school. And then you do it for one day, like one real day where you're like, I'm gonna have to keep doing this. Do it for one day, knowing you also have to do it tomorrow. That's a different game. You can't explain that to someone. It's like you can't explain it to them. It's like someone trying to explain childbirth to me. I'm like, I believe everything you're saying. I cannot picture this. Like, I just can't wrap my mind around it. It's one of those things. You can have empathy, but you can't have sympathy. You can imagine what it's like, but you can't actually put yourself back in their shoes. until you do it. This is a massive problem. It's only going to get massiver. My English teacher in high school is rolling over and saying, "What are you talking about?" But it is. And if you can help solve it, you will be doing. This is the intersection. You will be doing massive good, making money that is worth your time, and the person paying you will love you for it. If you're these people that can provide trust, if you can think, and if you're reliable. I need you to be the bare minimum of those three. Can you be a normal human who can be trustworthy with my parent? If you can think autonomously and if you can show up, do those three things and you will make a lot of money. But you have to be a little flexible. I do want to say thank you again to one of our brand new sponsors, guys. We have to make sure we get all these in or we don't get any of the money. Congratulations. This one on the Christmas list for most PTs. Let's hear it for code 97530, the party game for rehab pros. Billing fraud has never been this fun. With code 97530, bluff your way through CPT codes, make up goals on the fly, and see who can justify Therex for a patient with the paper cut. Check them out at rehabgamenight.com where you'll find not only this game, but lots and lots more. Order now and get a bonus expansion pack documenting without really trying. Let's hear it for code 97530. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. All right, where do you guys want to go next?
When you read these, and now that you're adding a URL, a website, it sounds real.
Tony, here's our next.
These are fake ads if you're just coming up for the first time.
Here's our next business. Buy all the URLs that I make up, but make them go to one page, and we'll do something there. Or we just start making
live selling.
Live selling. This is live selling.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE, painrelief.com. Or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.